What's up, Husky Basshead? So today what we're going to be doing is dropping the charging voltage in the Toyota Tundra, that truck right there, from 16 volts back down to the factory charging, which is around 14 and a half. If you saw one of my previous videos, I showed you guys that I put the those excess power 14 volt batteries in there, those AGM Group 31s, the 14 volt version. I put 2 of them in there, and then I built the diode harness to bring the charging voltage back up. But today we're actually going to replace those batteries and bring it back down to the factory charging voltage. So here's what we're going to use to do that. This is XS Power's, this is their Group 31, but their 12 volt version, right? Let's see, what do we have? Anyway, this is just their regular 12 volt Group 31 D3100. And then we're going to be using a Headway bank as well that is built right there. And here's why we're going to do that. I've been having some issues with this truck ever since I bumped the voltage up. And I think it's caused by the voltage. I don't know, but I think so. So for one, my power locks in my truck keep going out. I don't know if the motors and the doors are burning up or what's happening. Is that a coincidence that I upped the charging voltage and that started happening? I don't know, but this is my daily driver, or one of my daily drivers. So I don't know, just the risk to the reward with running that high of a voltage just doesn't seem worth it to me, especially if it's going to be burning stuff up. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I've kind of decided, I've been driving around with it like this for 3 or 4 months. I kind of decided I just don't want to roll those dice, you know what I mean? And so also, let me show you what happens right on startup. So this truck has not been started today. It hasn't been ran. Oops. Okay, first thing in the morning, probably, I don't know, 50 degrees or so out here. All right, there's my resting voltage. Can you guys see that? There we go. 14.1. 14, right? And these batteries are really supposed to sit at about 14.7. And so I don't know. I've got a 370 amp alternator. Why they're not charging, sitting higher than that, I don't know. But I start this bad boy up. Look at that. Man, that gets high. I don't know, that's a little bit too high for my comfort. And then watch this. My amps don't come on. Protect. Protect. So, I don't know, that 16.6 kind of scares me a little bit. Now, as the vehicle warms up, obviously, that voltage will go down to about 16, but those amps don't come out of Protect until they see less than 16 volts. Now, I'm going to be running different amplifiers in this vehicle eventually, but I decided I don't really want to have to be limited by the amplifier that I can run because my voltage is too high, right? Like there are a lot of amplifiers on the market that do not want that really high voltage like that. So I'm just limiting my options when I'm running it that high. And if an amplifier doesn't like voltages that high, an electrical component that is designed specifically to run a ton of power through it, a car audio amplifier, doesn't like seeing voltages that high, then my thought is, well, my truck probably doesn't like it either. So anyway, we're just gonna bring it back down to factory and just be fine with it. It was a fun experiment while it lasted, but we're bringing it back down. Now, another thing that vehicle does is, as I'm driving, the voltage is up very high 15s, low 16s. But as soon as I come to a stoplight, it goes right back down to like 13.5. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Is it the PCM in the truck is trying to fight the charging voltage? I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I don't really know how all that works, but my thought is that is a really big swing in voltage that I just don't want to have to deal with. All right, guys, so don't mind my messy truck. I'm gonna have to clean all that up later, but here's what we're gonna do. All right, you can see that second battery is just sitting right there. Oops, sorry, came out of focus. It's mounted with like a battery tie down. You can see the bolt sticking up. So that's where my Headway bank's gonna go. We're gonna use this. This is just a waterproof, where is it? That's what it is. Just a waterproof battery box that I got from AutoZone. Got a little lid that goes on it. But check this out. Okay, that's how that's gonna go, right? Well, this doesn't quite fit right there. But my truck has this little, you know, kind of dented out portion where you can see there's like a channel right there. Well, this box, you know, the holes right there, those protrusions, that's where you run the wire through, fit really nicely right into that groove, but we're sitting, you know, 6 inches off the floor. So basically, when I mount this is gonna have to be raised up some. So I'm just gonna use some MDF to build me a platform. That way I can raise the mounting platform for this up a little bit to really get it to just fit right in that groove right there. Man, sorry guys, the sun is such that it's just getting really bad glare. So anyway, I'm gonna build a platform that raises this battery up a little bit. That way it sits right in that groove like what I just showed you guys. Okay, so we've got this thing all ready to pull this battery out. See, you can see this is their 14 volt group 31. Now, some things you have to do first is I removed all these fuses because these 3 power wires are what go to the back, right? So we've got another battery in the back that is connected here. So these 3 wires are still hot. So if you don't pull these fuses, then these wires stay hot. So then when you pull them off of your bus bar, right, these would all be live just hanging here. So that's the first thing you got to do. If you got a battery bank in the back, you have to disconnect power between your front battery and your back battery, or you're going to have some fun fireworks show here when you pull these off. So we just got everything off, right? We got everything off the bus bar. We got the ground removed. So now all we got to do is pull this out of here, which these are really heavy. So that's always fun getting these in and out. Just step back.
It.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
I think I stopped it.
Oh, no, you didn't. That's fine. I'll just edit it out. All right, so we got that out of there. Grounds are still just hanging. Right, here's my big 4-aught coming from the alternator and all my power wires. Remember, these are not hot because I pulled the fuses out. Got an empty space for that new battery. Okay, so one more thing to note here that we had to do is, remember guys, the last time when I bumped the voltage up, we built this diode harness. Well, this is a perfect example of why I like to build everything to where you can just pull it back apart, right? That's why I use these plugs, because all I did was unplug this from right there. And now we're back to factory setting, right? All the diodes are in here, and I could just pull that out of there like a quick disconnect without having to cut wires or anything. And if I ever want to do this again, I just take this diode harness and plug it back in there. No problem. I mean, that's kind of why I do things this way. That way you can disconnect things really quickly. Okay, so you can see now I've got this D3100 in there. It's the same exact size as that other battery I just pulled out of there. It's just 12 volt instead of the 14 volt. So it's just as heavy. Man, this is where being a little husky really helps, you know what I'm saying? Get a little, get a little bit of that going to help load these great big batteries. But anyway, got it in there. You can see nothing is connected yet. I don't really want to start wiring all this up until I have everything in place. Oh, here's just a little side note. This is just some MDF. Somebody told me when I installed this, do not put MDF under the engine bay because it'll get moist and it'll swell up. Well, that's perfectly fine. Hasn't swollen up, hasn't gotten moist at all, like even a little bit. And that's been in there for like 8 months now. I live in Arizona, so it doesn't really get, you know, the humidity in the air is like 0%. So getting moist ain't a thing out here, you know. So anyway, it's fine. If it ever did swell up on me, I'd just replace it with like some ABS plastic or something, but it hasn't yet, so I'm not worried about it. Now, let me show you what we got going here in the back. Here's that battery tray that we built. I just covered it with some Duratex just to make it look nice, so it's not just this bare MDF, and to maybe protect it from the elements a little bit, even though I've got this camper shell, so it shouldn't really be in the elements anyway. But all we're gonna do is take these little 90s and, you know, screw them down here like that. That way that can mount, and then this bad boy can just sit right there like that. So you can kind of see how that's gonna go. I left a little notch out right here because there is a strap that this came with that straps this down. Right, I'll have plenty of room on the front between this and the side wall of the bed, but this is going to mount right up to the box, my subwoofer box. So I just left a little notch there so that the strap can run through there. But anyway, that's where we're at so far. Okay guys, so let me show you what I've done here. I've removed some of the stuff from that little pocket over there from that I don't need, an old fuse holder and that battery hold down. Okay, so this is where this is gonna go. You know, as they say, measure twice, cut once. Or as I like to say, you know, measure once kind of crappily and then just kind of hope for the best. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I put this in here to kind of see where I want it, right, like that. I know that's about where that's gonna fit. And then I took my little white Sharpie and marked where these corners are gonna go. I did the same on the other side. It's very difficult to see because it's tight in here, but that's what I did. That way I can mount this where I know I need it for this to fit, you see? Because that barely, man, it's hard to see, sorry guys. So this barely fits in this groove right here. So that has to be in the right spot or else you're not gonna be able to get that lid on there. So anyway, that's how I did that. You can see my little markings. Crap, can you? Oh yeah, they're right there. It's right there. So anyway, let's get that mounted and then I'll bring you guys back and we'll see if it works out. Okay, so here's that battery tray. Got it mounted into place. So you got some screws in there holding it in. Right, got my strap running through that little groove I cut out to the other side. Right, that's in there, nice and sturdy. Right, like that's gonna hold no problem. All right, I think it's good. Now we just got to put that battery box in there and see if it fits right. Okay guys, as you can see, got it all wired up. All right, so that's what she ended up like. Right, ended up having to drill a hole right there actually, and right there, because I could not get these are welding cables, some of them are anyway. That one is, anyway, I couldn't get them to like jump over here and then bend super tight. Right, as you can imagine, that would have to like bend over that like that, and I just couldn't get it. So I drilled a hole right there, but that's okay. Our lid has some cutout spaces for stuff like that, so it should be okay. All right, ended up double-sided tape my balancer right there. All right, I think all is well. Let's get this. Well, let me show you what else we got before we put the lid on there. Got everything else wired up in here too. Got the D3100, all my positive leads here, all my grounds. And then I even got all my fuses up in that fuse block. I know it's dirty, but you can see them in there. So everything should be good to go. See what my resting voltage is. 13.1. Okay. All right, not bad. Not bad. Moment of truth, guys. Let's see if we can turn this thing on and not have it explode. Here, let's turn that off. Okay. You know, I might run one diode in there just to get me up to like the 14.4 range, but I don't know, maybe not, we'll see. Sitting right at 14 volts, that looks good. Amps come on. All right, there's my power light right there. Nothing exploded up here. And nothing exploded back here. So we got it. Looks good. I think we're done. All right, guys. Well, the final moment of truth on this build. Does the lid fit on the battery tray? Yes. Yes, it does. Voila. Look at that. You got that wire or power cable tucked up in there nice and neat. Got my strap holding it in place, right? Ow, hit my head. See, that thing is in there nice and tight. Got all the other wires here, right? Like something could fall right on top of this and it wouldn't ground out because all these wires are covered, right? And it fits, as you can see, right in that space right there, just like I wanted it to, right? As you can see there, right in that little groove in my truck bed. So this was a success. I think that turned out really about as good as it could. See, look at that. Man, that looks nice. Heck yeah. I'm real happy with this one. Real happy with this one. Look at that. Very good. All right. All right, guys. One final update. I couldn't leave well enough alone. I did build another harness. See this little jumper harness right here? There's two diodes right in that black tape right there. That's on the sense wire. Obviously this is not just going to be left like this. I'm going to tape that up and then put this loom around it. I just plugged it in now here to just do a test run. Also, these two wires here are deleted. Singer Alternator, when you order a alternator from them, will send you a boost harness. So I looked at the boost harness that they sent me when I ordered that alternator, and he has two of the wires deleted. I don't know why, I don't know what they do, but I just compared to what he had and just built mine the same way he built his. Again, I don't know what those two wires do, but you know, he knows what he's doing more than I do. So I built mine to look just like him. Maybe those are like PCM deletes or something. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. But anyway, let's see what we got. Resting at 13.3. Okay. So now we're charging at high 14s, which is fine. That is not going to be too much for this truck. Those Headway cells should charge comfortably right at about 14.8 or so. And same with that 12 volt AGM up front. So we got this right where we want it. Let's see. Okay, and my base amp still turns on. So 15 volts, 14.9, 14.8 is plenty, and my truck will be a lot happier at that voltage range, I think. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, this is the next day. Battery has been installed in this truck over the weekend. I live in Queen Creek, Arizona. I just checked my weather app. It is 42 degrees out here, so it's pretty cold for this part of the country. But anyway, let's see what the startup is on this. So we'll hit my voltmeter, voltage gauge. Okay, resting at 13.1. Now remember, we got that excess power group 31, that D3100 up front under the hood, and then we got the Headway bank in the back, and then we got 2 diodes in the front on the sense wire for that alternator. So let's see what we got here. Sitting at 13. All right, so a cold start, 15 volts, but once the truck warms up, that should come back down to mid to high 14s, which is what my goal was, because that's the charging voltage operating range for the batteries that I have. And that's not up into the 16.5s, which just scares the crap out of me for this truck. So overall, I'd say it was a success. Got the Headway bank, more than enough to run these 2 Wolfram C2400s. They're not going to go into protect, and the rest of my truck should be happy with this voltage. All right, so just drove to work, probably about a 25-minute drive, and was just slamming the whole time. I mean, was just playing at full tilt the whole drive here, and we're sitting at 14.5. You know, like I said, once the truck warmed up, it came down to about 14.8 charging, which is really what I wanted, given those Headway cells don't really want in the 15s charged. But it didn't take long for me to come back down into the high 14s. And the lowest voltage that I saw sitting at a red light, given red light demos basically, was like high 13s, 13.7. And so it seems to be working great. The Headway bank seems to be handling this 4,800 watts that I got no problem. So anyway, the thing worked out great. I love the new setup in the truck. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.